So the executive board met today both in public hearing as well as an executive session, and we discussed options. Unanimously decided that we as the executive board, and as you know, the board represents the legislature when we are not in session as part of the council. As 100% unanimously, we're asking for Senator Kintner to resign, and we've given him until Friday to do such at close of business, 5 o'clock. We also discussed sanctions and options for where to go from here should the senator decide not to resign. And I'm encouraging him that this doesn't have to go any further than right now. He has 10 members of his colleagues, 10 of his colleagues asking him again for his resignation. We've already set a date to come back together in executive session to make sure that we can work on that. But I think this is a great statement for the leadership of the legislature to simply say, do the right thing, resign, and no more sanctions, no more discussion about the issue. Any questions?
Speaker Hadley just said that he thinks it'll be very difficult for you guys to come up with a punishment, assuming Senator Kintner continues to refuse to resign. Do you feel that way as well?
Well, I think that in general, I personally, as the chair of the exec board, am not worried about punishing Senator Kintner. I'm concerned that we have a situation that's happened that never needs to be repeated. So the laws need to be strengthened in terms of making it necessary for someone to take notice that if they do what Senator Kintner has done, there are ramifications. And if that means strengthening the statutes that we've talked about in exec session, then that will be my mission in the last 2 years, hopefully being reelected as chair of the exec board. But we have to have some teeth in order to have those infractions punishable. Right now, as I said in the earlier sessions, and we heard today, and I'll say it again, this is uncharted waters. I would have never expected this or condoned any of this behavior from any state senator. And so here we are. We're gonna sail this course and take it where it'll take us.
Senator, should Senator Krist not resign by Friday? Which path do you...
I'm Krist.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Should Senator Kintner not resign by Friday, what path do you support?
I would support bringing in the Legislative Council, which is not a special session, to give all 48 of the senators an opportunity to chart a course, and I don't know where that would go. We can compel attendance, but we can't compel anyone actually to speak on the issue. So a quorum, compel a quorum. That's the course of action that I think is probably next. I'm going to be working on some unilateral changes and making sure that he's already demonstrated a lack of ability to manage his internet connections. We're going to start by looking at his computer. And I think you heard me say in the session, we don't need the computer. That old saying about big brothers is absolutely true. We can see what's on the computers, and we can take necessary action to make sure that there isn't any more abhorrent behavior such as this that will continue.
Do you think a legislative council should be held before the election or after the election?
Well, I think there will be discussion by the members as to whether or not they should take time out from their own individual campaigns to meet on this issue. But I think that's also something that we have to discuss in terms of the timing. I'd like to see it sooner than later. I agree with Senator Hadley, Speaker Hadley. This is ours to fix, and we need to do it as soon as possible.
Senator, how disappointed are you that Senator Kintner did not show up?
Well, from my own not speaking as a member of the exec board, from my own personal perspective, I told you all I would have been here last time we had a hearing. Something that was this grave and would have potentially involved me, I would have been here. That's what I think most of us would have done. Members of this board wanted us to officially invite him. So speaking as a member of the board and the chair of the board, I sent him an invitation so that he could come speak on his own behalf. We were pretty sure that his lawyer would advise him not to. So I'm very disappointed that he doesn't want to speak for himself, and I'm also very disappointed that he hasn't been in communication with me. I mean, we tried several times last week to see if he was coming, and it basically was a letter delivered to my office this morning as to all the executive board members by his lawyer. So again, I'm disappointed he hasn't come and talked to his fellow colleagues.
And then what about some of the people who testified? They said that this was a political witch hunt. This is a waste of your time. This is a waste of taxpayer money.
Yeah, I think you heard one testifier say towards the end, who has been in that chamber with us, a former page, who was very clear. This says something about our integrity, about our body. This is not a witch hunt. This wouldn't be changed if that person were black, white, purple. It wouldn't make any difference. This is something that was done and reflects poorly on the legislature. So,
Senator, there was a lot of talk immediately after this came out. A lot of people calling for expulsion, something to send a really strong statement. Is this stepping back from that a little bit?
no, I think it's stepping right forward with it. You can have the governor of the state of Nebraska, who, by the way, in terms of the media, there was a letter put into our record saying that the legislature and the governor were meeting on this issue. We've never met concurrently with the governor, directly or not. This is a legislative matter. We've said that from the very beginning. Individually, it doesn't make any difference whether the governor or the speaker, collectively or not, or any of us have asked for his resignation. This is a very strong signal. This is the executive board of the Legislative Council, who acts as the legislature when they're not in session, who's saying, it's time, Bill, it's time for you to resign.
How concerned are you if you do, say you go forward with a legislative council, how much concern is it that Senator Kintner might be able to challenge whatever action comes in court? And I mean, is that something that's going through your mind? Or?
No, I think if challenges come down the road, they will. I think you have to. My responsibility is to move forward within the letter of the law, within our charter, within the Constitution. And if someone chooses to challenge something, just like we do on the floor, we have open debate. We go 3 rounds of debate. We pass a bill, and there's always a chance that the Supreme Court is going to overrule us or overturn something. I don't think you can live your life that way. The right thing for us to do is move forward as the Executive Board and the Legislative Council, if we deem that appropriate, and take whatever action needs to be taken.
Senator, can you kind of give us when we go to a legislative council, how many votes for censure, how many votes for expulsion?
The expulsion is actually, the impeachment part of it is actually a higher threshold. So, you need 33 votes to get us back into session, and then you need 33 to get there. Expulsion, I think it's 25 votes. But the actual number of votes, I don't think is there on either one of those fronts. If you consider that we have to get ourselves back into a special session, which I said I don't believe is the right way to go.
I thought you could do expulsion in the legislative council.
We can't.
So what would be the votes on expulsion in the legislative council?
We need a quorum to go forward. So we need 25 votes to even get us back and to meet and get the quorum there. And that's what I'm saying, that threshold is a pretty tough thing to do. And then we can't impeach, we could expel, because it's a legislative only process.
But how many votes would you need to expel once you're in
You're
legislative
putting me
council?
on the spot.
I'm sorry.
I think that the
Yeah.
exact number is 25 for impeachment and 30 or 33 for, does anyone know?
I thought the standard was higher for expulsion.
It is. It's 33. Then it's 33 for expulsion, and it's 25 for impeachment. The problem is we need the 25 to get us a quorum to come back. So the threshold of votes then adds up to a point where it's almost impossible.
And for censure, would it be 25 then? Or
We could at this point we could recommend to the entire legislature that we would censure, and we'd have to take it back for a vote, and that's a majority. That's 25 votes.
that's 24. So in the legislative council, you could censure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Senator, can you talk about what will be in this letter that is going to Senator Kintner?
Yeah, you can take a look at the accountability and disclosure statements that said this is why you are guilty, and we'll put that word for word, that paragraph in there that says this is why, and that will be our rationale. In addition to that, I want to make a point of saying that we also need to make him aware that even the installation of this software put us all in jeopardy and is a violation. So. Anything else?
What's your reaction to today's meeting, what you decided? You said last time you're already tired of talking about this. Now it's gonna continue and continue. What's kind of the reaction?
Well, personally, having a feeling that we're not acting fast enough is not relevant right now. What's relevant is that we're moving forward, and that what the speaker had proposed and what we voted on today is the will of the board. So I will live by the pace that we're going down. I'm really very pleased that we're now, as a board, in solidarity to ask him for it, and I think that probably should have happened last time, but it's happened, so I'm happy with it now.